Minister, thank you so much. Today you're presenting a mega proposal. You are pitching joint borrowing to the tune of 850 billion euros. Obviously, the numbers speak for themselves. Why do this now?
Well, we think there's a good window of opportunity to put that proposal forward now. We've been having discussions on the international role of the euro over the past few months, with very good contributions on the fact that we need a safe asset. We've heard from the ECB, from a few national governors, from the academia, and we thought it was about time that there was a specific proposal that we're pushing for. And Spain is actually making a pitch or a proposal to centralize part of the national issuances within the Commission, within a specific facility that can help, without increasing the total level of debt, to reduce fragmentation and therefore reduce costs and integrate further our national markets, our national financial and capital markets. And that would, at the same time, as I said, reduce also costs for our firms. So it's a win-win situation, which we hope to discuss with our colleagues right now.
And Mario Draghi pitched a very similar number, but he could not get this proposal to take off. What makes you think you can do it?
Well, we think it's actually, as I said before, a good political window of opportunity. We're also discussing the medium-term financial framework, that is the European budget. So it's a good also timing in terms of the big political discussions here in Brussels. And again, we think that it is time that there is a specific proposal, technically valid, and that also, in a sense, we think is practically possible and realistically possible, and that we hope to, again, convince our peers that we've overcome the discussion around mutualization of debt, which is not the case here. It's about efficiency, reducing barriers, which I think is something that we could all gather behind.
So you say it's not the end, it's the start of a debate, but it needs to happen, this debate. Who are your allies? I'm sure you consulted before pitching this proposal. The numbers are very big.
Well, let's see how the discussion goes today, but I hope that we can rally many of our colleagues behind this concept of reducing barriers and reaping the benefits of not having a liquidity premium, which is what we have right now. This is why we need to increase the volume, the liquidity. Our proposal is to have 5 trillion in issuances over 5 years, and we think that this would apply or imply a savings up to 25 billion on a yearly basis, which is very similar to the repayments of NGU debt on an annual basis as well. So to give a sense of the magnitude of the savings.
Of the interest rate. I wonder, however, the Germans, the Dutch, they've said many times, you know, we've said it clearly, this was a one-off, it was legally a one-off, the message is very clear, and we do not approve this. So what makes you believe you can get them to change things?
Well, again, I think the context now is very different and the discussion is different. We're not talking about increasing the level.
Because you triple Germany in growth? Is that what's changed the context?
It's not only that. I think, again, as I said, Next Generation EU was a one-off, which in the end turned out to be a very successful case and story for the European Union and in particular for Spain as well. But in this context, what we have is the need to keep on pushing with, for example, our investment agenda. And to be able to free up fiscal space, we need to be efficient in how we manage, of course, the fiscal budgets and our fiscal responsibilities. So we need to be, again, efficient in issuing debt, reducing barriers, and centralizing our debt issuance to the extent that this will improve our financial conditions. So this has changed. This is the new context, again, in which we can have this discussion, and hopefully everyone will see the benefits. Just think of, for example, SAFE. The SAFE instrument. We issued together 150 billion.
That is joint debt.
That is joint debt. And had we had then SAFE assets with enough liquidity, we would have saved 8 billion in interests. So those 8 billion would correspond to taxpayers' money around all European Union, including German taxpayers. So again, there is a clear case for us having this safe asset without increasing the level of debt, but reaping the benefits of lower fragmentation.
Some would say mutualization does not make up for what you save on the interest rates, but you make your point very clear. Just as a last question, final question. Yesterday, something really extraordinary happened. Frankly, I've never seen a person change his mind so quickly. The president of the U.S. came out in the morning and said, Spain is a totally wasted cause. They're a terrible ally, and we will do a full trade embargo. 10 hours later, the president of the U.S. came out and said, this is a very, quote, generous country. What changed?
Well, as we've made very clear for the past year, I would say. Spain is a reliable ally within NATO, of course. We said that we would comply with our commitments in terms of investing in security and defense, and that's what was very clear at the last summit.
You showed the numbers?
We showed the numbers, and we showed that Spain was the number 7 contributor in absolute terms to NATO, 7 out of 32. We showed that Spain is contributing not only with investing in security and defense, but with more than 3,000 troops in all the different missions that are out there. So Spain is making its part and being a reliable partner, and we're happy that others are also realizing it.
But just to clear this, as far as you're concerned, as the economy minister, the deputy prime minister, the idea of a trade embargo, this is done. It ends here. By the way, you have a trade deficit with the U.S. Is this over?
Well, as we've said even other times in other occasions when there were also statements around potential additional tariffs or other measures, the bilateral trade relation is dealt with at the European level. So Spanish firms do face the same, of course, circumstances and barriers than the French or the German ones, and that's where this has to be decided. What we want is to go ahead, give predictability to our firms, and implement the agreement that was already taken last year, almost a year ago. European Union has done its part. We expect the US also to do its part, and we expect trade, if possible, to keep on increasing, because that's what firms want, and that's what is a win-win situation.
Well, Minister, thank you so much. Appreciate it.